For centuries, the U.S. government has taken native lands through treaty violations, forced removals, and corporate-backed resource extraction. Today, many Native American communities still struggle with land dispossession, environmental destruction, and restricted sovereignty. While some argue that resource development benefits local economies, others believe it is just another form of exploitation that continues colonial injustice. So, should the government stop exploiting native lands, or is there a way to balance economic interests with indigenous rights? One of the strongest arguments for ending government exploitation is treaty violation. Many tribes signed legally binding treaties with the U.S. government that guaranteed them land, hunting rights, and sovereignty. However, these agreements have been ignored, broken, or rewritten whenever it was convenient for the government. The Black Hills of South Dakota, sacred to the Lakota people, were taken in violation of the 1868 Fort Laramie Treaty after gold was discovered there. Although the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in 1980 that the land was illegally seized, the government offered financial compensation instead of returning the land, which the Lakota refused. Another major issue is environmental destruction caused by government-approved projects. Pipeline Select Dakota Access, APL, and Line 3, uranium mining on Navajo lands, and deforestation in sacred areas have polluted water supplies, destroyed ecosystems, and displaced native communities. Many of these projects move forward without tribal consent, ignoring indigenous sovereignty and environmental rights. As Lakota activist Deb Haaland, now U.S. Secretary of the Interior, once said, "We must stop treating native lands as sacrifice zones for corporate profit." Some argue that development projects bring jobs and economic growth, helping struggling native communities. Certain tribes, such as the 3 affiliated tribes in North Dakota, have benefited financially from oil extraction. However, critics point out that profits often go to corporations rather than native nations, while indigenous communities are left with pollution, health issues, and long-term environmental damage. Economic development should be based on tribal self-determination, not outside exploitation. A key solution is returning full land sovereignty to tribes. Many native nations are pushing for greater control over their own lands, including the ability to block harmful projects, enforce environmental protections, and pursue sustainable industries like renewable energy. The land back movement calls for returning illegally seized lands to indigenous control, ensuring that native nations, not corporations or the federal government, decide what happens to their territories. So, should the government stop exploiting Native American lands? Absolutely. Until tribes have full control over their own land, resources, and decision-making, they will continue to face exploitation under a system designed to take rather than restore. The real question is, will the U.S. finally honor its treaties and respect native sovereignty, or will history keep repeating itself? What do you think? Let's continue the conversation.